Hi, my name is Ella, and I did my final project on the characters of Rembrandt's Night Watch and further history of the painting's life. On the right-hand side here, you can see all of the figures pictured within the painting. The Commissioner and the Civic Guardsman. The Civic Guard of Amsterdam was a group of guards that basically served as law enforcement in the city. So they enforced laws and also protected the citizens. The Civic Guard of Amsterdam was comprised of volunteers, more often wealthy volunteers, as there was an income level that had to be met by potential guards. This is exhibited when examining the attire of the primary commissioner of the painting, of whom was the captain of the Civic Guard, by the name Frans Bannenkok. There were other people, around 16, that contributed to the actual payment of the painting. However, it was the captain who was the primary commissioner and paid for it the most. He wears a white collar, signifying his high class, and carries a baton to signify his rank. In the Rijksmuseum Bulletin article by Dudok van Heel, it stated, Frans Bannenkok was a typical regent in society in which the ruling clans set the tone. To the right of the captain is Lieutenant Willem van Ruitenburg, wearing a steel gorget around his neck to show his rank. According to Smart History, he is also fancifully dressed, but in bright yellow, his military role referenced by the steel gorget he wears around his neck and the strongly foreshortened ceremonial partisan that he carries. So if you look over to the right hand side, you can see the image of the two main characters of this painting, the captain on the left and the lieutenant on the right. You can see the captain is wearing his white collar to signify his wealth, as he was an upper class man, and he carries his baton in his right hand. And then to his left, the viewer's right, is the lieutenant who wears his steel collar and carries his ceremonial partisan in his left hand, which was not an actual weapon but used purely for ceremonial purposes. Another note, the painting was not originally titled as The Night Watch, but just acquired the name as varnish darkened the canvas. So it was originally a daytime scene, but it only started to appear dark as the canvas itself darkened. According to the Illustrated Encyclopedia of Western Art, the painting was originally titled Company of Captain Frans Bannenkok. I also heard it to be Company of Captain Frans Bannenkok and Lieutenant Willem van Ruitenburg. While the painting features mostly real guards who are a member of the Civic Guards, there are a few who were not in the guard but were pictured or were not real people at all. The first of these is Rembrandt himself. Much like artist Van Eyck, who was known for adding himself into his paintings, Rembrandt also added himself into the Night Watch. Dressed as a guardsman, Rembrandt stands just above and to the left of the captain. As you can see on the left, there's the top image, that's Rembrandt, and just to the lower right side of him, that's the top of the captain. Another more strange character is the brightly illuminated girl to the viewer's left of the captain. She was likely not a real person, but rather a symbolic character or a mascot for the guard. With a chicken tied around her waist, it is alleged that it's a play on the captain's name, Cock. BBC stated, "But why a chicken and not an eagle, which surely would have been more appropriate for a militia company, not to say more dignified?" At Dignity's expense, Rembrandt also appears to be punning on the captain's name, even perhaps alluding to his appetites. What's more, that the mascot is surely the face of Rembrandt's Saskia. And then the bottom image on the left is the girl with the chicken tied to her waist. You can see on her left side, the chicken dangles upside down by its feet, and you can see the white shape in the feet of the chicken. In 2021, researchers were actually able to use calcium detecting X-ray technology to see the original sketches of the Night Watch underneath the layers of paint and varnish. The X-ray revealed some components that were lost in time and some which were never included past the initial sketch. The Smithsonian Magazine states the chalk paint sketch reveals that he initially planned to include several pointed spears sticking above the heads of the company. He also planned to paint feathers onto the elaborate helmet of militiaman Claes van Kruibergen, but later painted over them, per the statement. Another sketch also exists of the Night Watch, however, not on the canvas itself. In an album belonging to the captain, there lies a sketch of the painting featuring details that also did not make the final cut, such as a man holding a large flag. In the book Rembrandt's Paintings, the author states Rembrandt shows the ensign waving the big flag with the arms of Amsterdam underneath the archway. And then on the right side of the screen, you can see that's the X-ray image of the painting. The painting had also been vandalized multiple times, the first being in 1911 when a frustrated shoemaker attempted to slash the painting in an act of protest against low wages and class division. Because despite the steady economy of the Netherlands at the time, there was still significant wealth disparity. Luckily, the thick coating of varnish protected the painting against his attack. In 1975, the painting was less fortunate and was successfully stabbed and slashed by a Christian religious extremist who claimed he did it for the Lord. The museum guards attempted to stop the attack, but about 7 feet of the painting was still severely defaced, and a 12-inch by 2.5-inch area of the canvas was removed entirely. Following the second attack, the museum has secured the Night Watch into its own glass room within the hallway of the Rijksmuseum. On the right side of the screen, you can see that is the painting after its second attack where it's slashed, and this is before it was added into its glass protection room. And here are my references, both online journal and physical copy of a book.